Hello, YouTube family. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm your auntie of pop culture. It's not cute not knowing. I go by the nickname Ginger. We start off with a hug because today we need a hug. Come on. Okay, there's a lot going on. You know how I've said I ain't buying no more streaming services. Well, this is one you don't have to buy. Peacock, NBC, it launched yesterday. It's a streaming service that you don't have to pay for. Prentice Perry, he's the executive producer behind HBO's Insecure. He had a Netflix movie called Uncorked. He has a new project coming out on Netflix, all about a holiday special. Nia Long, Omar Epps, have you started watching it yet? Fatal Affair starts streaming on Netflix on today. For those who are saying, we've seen this before, this one has a little twist. She's been heavily promoting it. I'm going to watch it, but Fatal Affair is streaming now on Netflix. I'm a girl of the 80s. I love 80s music, and this is when I first got into radio. So when I expressed my disappointment in singer Madonna, she's 61 and she's doing too much. The grills. She just posted a topless picture on social media, I guess to show off her new breast implants. She's had breast implants. She's had butt implants. She's had a full facelift. She's had chin implants, cheek implants. She's the best-selling artist ever. Best-selling artist of all time. And when you think of the 80s, most of the 80s legends are gone. Prince, Michael Jackson, George Michael, Luther Vandross, David Bowie. Who am I missing? Whitney Houston. Did I say Luther? Here she's still standing, and she out here just... You're a legend. Follow Cher's lead. Tina Turner's lead. Be a legend. You just walk into your legend in them. Is that a name? Legend and yeah, whatever. It's too much. It's too much. There's a Tiger Woods HBO documentary coming out, and they're getting flack because there were no African Americans or Asians included in the project. The director of it was very honest when he said, I work with people who I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable with people who I know. It may seem hard to believe, but there are white people who don't really know black people. There are black people who don't really know white people, or know Asian people, or know Latino people. He's been called to task. The HBO documentary is still going on, but I think people are going to be more sensitive. Don't just work inside your bubble with people that you're familiar with, but to reach outside because there's so much talent out there. Now, speaking of bubbles, me with the segues, y'all know the NBA players are in a bubble in Orlando where they got to be there for a few weeks to kind of finish out the season that was interrupted because of COVID. They're not with their families. They're not with their kids. Everything they do is in the bubble. Eat, sleep, work, play, everything's in the bubble. One player has already gotten in trouble for sneaking out to go get something to eat. And they told him, you can't leave the bubble. He got in trouble. All right, you can't trust some of these thoughts. You can't trust some of these Instagram models. They're talking, and apparently some of the NBA players have been sneaking the IG models and the thoughts into the bubble. Now, the minute COVID spreads inside that doggone bubble, there will be no NBA season. There will be no NBA season. They got to be careful. They're in the bubble. Guys, just stay in the bubble so the season can kind of go on. Meanwhile, last night in Tennessee, NASCAR had fans in the stands. Will they be able to have fans in the stand for football? Socially distant, of course. LL Cool J is helping out the true pioneers of hip hop. He wants them to have ownership in the project that he has coming up, and he's reaching out. When you think about the true legends of hip hop, they didn't get the money that you see given out today. Fab Five Freddy, he's reached out to them. Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, Eric B, Salt and Pepper, Roxanne Shante. It's really a great thing because they're not getting the riches that when you see these rappers now with these big contracts, and we're going to talk about contracts in a second. Wait a minute, do I have that story here? We're going to talk about it in a second. Let's move on to podcasts. I do a podcast, Patty and the Millennials. You can find it Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio app. Men and women, millennials, Gen X, I'm the baby boomer. We talk about this week things that the opposite sex does that drives you crazy. I'll go in more detail tomorrow, but check us out because there's a new podcast up. Michelle Obama, our former first lady, she has signed a deal with Spotify, and her podcast is coming out later this month. Who shot Megan Thee Stallion? I love her. She's a tall Texan beauty. Thick body. Love her. She got shot over the weekend. She's just talking about it now. Shot twice in her foot. What in the world is going on? She was with that artist, Tory Lanez. I've never played a Tory Lanez, so I don't know. He got arrested on a gun charge, right? But they're saying that he's the one who shot her in the foot and that they were dating. Tory Lanez is like here, y'all. Like a little bit. You shooting people in the foot? Shot her in the foot twice. Megan, you got to make better decisions about who you date and hang out with. You have too much going on. You need to be able to do your thing. She's recovering, but to get shot twice in the foot, he meant to hurt you, honey. He meant to hurt you. Johnny Depp. I kind of like tell the stories every other day. He's suing a London tabloid for saying that he was a wife beater. He and his wife, ex-wife, Amber Heard, they should have never been married. Never been married. In court testimony yesterday, they say he wrote her name in P at their vacation home. He put the P on the walls and the carpet. When his finger was severed, he wrote, "I love you" in blood. They shouldn't have been together. This is a lesson. If y'all can't get along, y'all don't belong together, just break up. And she was too young and he was too old. If you're a fan of the CW show All American with Taye Diggs and Breezy, get ready. That show is being renewed for another season. Real good show. Jamie Foxx has a movie coming on Netflix that looks really good. It's going to start streaming August 14th, entitled Project Power. Here's the premise. It's about a pill that gives you superhero powers for only 5 minutes. Woo! It looks good. The visuals and just everything. I didn't even know who was doing a project for Netflix, but the visuals, there is lots of action. And with the COVID and you can't see any new movies, this is going to be a good one. Mark it on your calendar. Netflix, August 14th, Jamie Foxx in Project Power. There's a mob documentary coming on Netflix next week. New York City versus the Mafia. This is when it's in the 70s when they took down all the families, John Gotti and everybody else. But that starts streaming on July 22nd. Let's get back to the music business. The Migos are suing their manager. They just woke up and realized that something's funny with the money. The music business is what? Pay attention to the business part. There's music, but there's also the business. Offset, Quavo, Takeoff, they're tired. They say their lawyer has been stealing from them. In the new issue of GQ magazine, Quavo and his lady, Saweetie, she's beautiful, beautiful young artist. They talk about their romance. They're such a cute couple, how he slid into her DMs. Their first date was at a strip club and it was all wrong. But they talk about their love and dating and stuff like that. If you're in the music business, gotta know the business part and not let people rip you off. Dan Snyder, he owns the Washington Redskins. He has the majority ownership. Told you early this week they're changing the name. No more Redskins. He, for years, he said, I ain't never changing the name. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. I think we know why he caved in. Okay, money talks. But this Dan Snyder is in a whole lot of trouble for sex trafficking. He was on Jeffrey Epstein's list. And apparently, he was pimping out the cheerleaders, sending them to islands, making sure that the male sponsors, suite holders, could have access to the cheerleaders. But apparently he's owning an NFL team and sidelining as a pimp at the same time. Let's get to Nick Cannon. Good news, bad news this morning. He's staying on as host of The Masked Singer on Fox. As of this moment, I haven't heard anything about the daytime talk show, so he's going to do that too. He made disparaging remarks about Jews. He has apologized. It was done in a podcast with Professor Griff, who used to be a Public Enemy. In a statement, Nick Cannon says, I apologize for my hurtful and divisive remarks. I feel ashamed for doing it. Earlier today, he lost his radio show. You know, he had 1,000 jobs. He lost the radio show. That company, which wasn't an iHeart company, y'all, they severed ties with him. So Nick Cannon lost that. Of course, CBS wilded out. Did Fox force him to apologize? Did Mariah Carey holler at him and say, you better apologize? You got to be really careful when other people control your purse strings on what to say, because then you're going to be hammered over the head. I be having these sayings, y'all. Don't give people a stick to beat you over the head with. Don't do it. Don't do it, because they will, and they'll keep beating you and keep beating you no matter how often you apologize. So far, he's going to stay on with The Masked Singer. So far, no talk about his daytime talk show being canceled, because that is debuting in the fall. But, woo, what a week for Nick Cannon. I had something else, but I can't understand what I wrote. So guess what? We're going to do it tomorrow. If you watch A Fatal Affair, like, they comment and, like, let me know, like, what you think, because Nia Long, Omar Epps, it's streaming now on Netflix. It's not cute not knowing. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm your auntie of pop culture. If you like the channel, tell a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. If I hurt you, that means that I saw it. My trusty, see, with the phone ringing, it threw me off, because you know I refuse to stop. If I hurt you, that means that I saw it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel.